these are important conversations that need to be had, and we will continue to shed more light on these conversations. Now, let's bring the conversation back to Nigeria. The Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has threatened to embark on a nationwide strike if the pump price of fuel sells above the current price of 617 naira. The Labour Centre warned that they will embark on the strike without any notification.
The NLC National President, Comrade Joe Ajaero, gave the warning in Abuja during the African Trade Union Alliance meeting. Although the NNPC Limited is yet to make any official announcement of fuel price increase, Ajaero said that the negotiations with the federal government was still ongoing, and the palliatives to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal were yet to be put in place first.
The NLC President has, however, appealed to the federal government to ensure that the anti-workers' policies are checked. We are now joined by Labour activist Comrade Femi Aborishade to let us in about the demands of the NLC and why they're pertinent at this time. Good morning, and thanks very, very much for joining us, sir.
Good morning.
All right. So let's
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you. Let's get into the conversation this morning. The NLC has demands, and they have said that if the government doesn't meet their demands, they will go on a strike without notification. Can you share with us, what the demands of the NLC are? Last time we checked, we know that, the last time they went on a strike, part of the demands was that the price of fuel be reverted to status quo and an increase in minimum wage. Is that still the conversation on the table, or is there more?
Yes, those 2 points constitute part of the demands of the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress. The others are, permit me to also modify the two you have mentioned.
Please go ahead.
Organized labor is demanding that for a reversal of the price of fuel to the last regulated rate of 186 naira per liter. Because we will recall that on the 29th of May this year, when the president was being sworn in, he announced gleefully that fuel subsidy is done. And from that moment, it threw Nigeria into commotion, hardship, unprecedented hardship, arising from unprecedented increase, unprecedented in the history of fuel price increases in Nigeria. The price rose from the last regulated rate to 537 naira initially. And now, as at the last time I bought fuel, I bought at the rate of 580. In other words, we have had an increase of over 213% on the price of fuel. There is a relationship between the price of fuel and the prices of all other goods and services.
Yep.
The moment the price of fuel rises, the prices of all other goods and services tend to rise. And we have not had a corresponding increase in minimum wage. So that is the justification for the NLC demand for a reversal. Let me further mention that the minimum wage, the living standard in 1981 was better, far, far better than the living standard today. In 1981, the minimum wage was 125 naira per month. In 1981, the fuel price was 15.3 kobo per liter, or 0.153 naira per liter. In 1981, the minimum wage would buy 817 liters of fuel. In 1981, the minimum wage was equivalent to 200 naira. Today, at the minimum wage of 30,000 naira, which is not being paid in several states of the Federation, and at the rate of 580 naira per liter, at which I bought last. The liter, the number of liters is just that the minimum wage can buy is just about 52.
All right, Comrade Femi.
Compared to 817.
All right, Comrade Femi, let's I think
just a minute.
Kindly hold on.
Just a minute.
All right, no, I just want to establish, because we're running with time here. The two things that NLC is demanding is a reduction in the price of petrol or an increase in minimum wage. You know, and I think you're basically building a foundation for that. So am I clear? Reduction in the price of petrol or an increase in the price or increase in minimum wage? Is that it?
No, it is not a question of alternative
okay,
demand.
so you want both?
It's a question of reversal, reduction in the price of fuel, and
yes,
specifically reversal to the national regulated rate, and at the same time, increase in minimum wage to match the rate of inflation.
All right, Comrade Femi.
So that if today minimum wage is increased and tomorrow the price of fuel goes up, Labour would expect that minimum wage should rise.
Yes.
Wage indexation.
I think we understand those parts, but I want to ask, why should any Nigerian believe or trust in what the NLC is doing or what the NLC is saying? Because, you know, over time, because I remember I lived in Benin when Adams Oshiomhole was NLC president, you know, and I think it's probably one of those moments where NLC was really popular. I had my doubts about the sincerity of what the NLC was doing, even when Adams Oshiomhole was president. But over time, it seems to have gotten worse. Ayuba Waba, of course, you know, who just stepped down, and then, of course, Joe Ajaero currently is president. If you do a survey across Nigeria today, I'm sure a lot of Nigerians do not trust in what the NLC is doing, or do not believe that the NLC will achieve anything with any of the protests that they embark on. The last protest only lasted a couple of hours. You know, we see pictures with, you know, Joe Ajaero and Felix Osifo, you know, at Osarogie with the current president. And, you know, the next thing we hear is the protest has been suspended. So why should anybody bother, you know, about what NLC is, you know, threatening today?
Yes. Organized labor may have its challenges. At the same time, whenever organized labor comes, the ruling class shivers.
Yeah, but they might shiver, but it doesn't achieve anything. That's my point. You might describe it as them shivering, but it doesn't achieve anything. It hasn't achieved anything in quite a while.
I would disagree with you. I would disagree with you because government knows that whenever labor takes any action, such an action is always being supported by ordinary people. Ordinary people are concerned about challenges of labor. But because there's no alternative, whenever labor calls for action, people are ready to support labor. And that is the basis for the shivering of government.
All right.
I want to say that we should not put the burden of emancipating ordinary people on the trade unions alone. Ordinary people should realize that they also have to organize in their workplaces, in their communities, and join organized labor.
All right.
Such that with or without organized labor, whenever government imposes anti-people policies, we are on the streets protesting peacefully against such policies.
Can I ask one question?
And in that case, organized labor will be compelled to also join forces with ordinary people across Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much.
So the challenge belongs to all of us, labor or no labor.
Comrade,
union or no union.
I'd appreciate if you're able to help us answer this question in about 30 seconds or less, because we've run out of time. But do you genuinely believe that these demands of labor can be met, that Nigeria has the ability, that government has the ability to meet these demands, which is to simultaneously increase the minimum wage and revert the fuel price to 165 naira?
That is precisely what government exists for. By constitutional mandate, government exists for the well-being and security of the people.
But do we have the capacity right now?
The government has the capacity right now. The government has the option of ensuring that fuel is processed in government-owned refineries rather than importing fuel. Government should not use the resource, crude oil, that God has given Nigeria to punish Nigeria. Why should we own crude oil and we export it to be refined, and we import refined products? That is the problem. And once government takes that decision of ensuring that we refine crude oil in Nigeria and even export refined products, government would have more than enough to take care of the needs of the people.
All right, Comrade Femi Aborishade, thank you so much for your time with us this morning on Breakfast Central. We hope that the NLC and the federal government can come to a reasonable agreement for the benefit of the Nigerian people. Thank you for your time.